Hey guys, Patriot Picker here. My name is Chris. We are down in the eBay bunker and it is post-Christmas and welcome back. Yeah, I took a absence, as you probably have figured out. I needed a break and we took one for the holidays, and it's been a few weeks now, I think, that I've made a video. I had some medical procedures done. I won't go into detail on what those were, but they did turn out to be successful during the holidays as well. And so I'm back and ready to make some videos for you. So I hope everybody had a great Christmas. I know our family did. I know most of you, well, not most of you, but a lot of you had a white Christmas down south, and I'm so jealous. Would love to get some snow here in Virginia, but it ain't happening yet. Usually we don't get snow until, like February, March, so we have to wait a little while longer. But anyway, the fourth quarter is about to come to a close. I hope everybody had a great fourth quarter and great holiday sales. I know we did. And some of the stuff that I'm going to be showing you here in a moment is stuff that's sold. Most recent for us, of course. And so we're going to jump into it. We're going to show you what's sold, and then get a little something I want to tell you at the end, and then we'll close this video up. So starting off, we were fortunate enough to be able to find some of these Philips Sonicare toothbrush heads that go on these automatic toothbrushes. If you ever see these in your thrift stores, especially if they're obviously sealed, I wouldn't buy them if they weren't. But if you see these, pick them up. They sell really well. This one went out for $11.99 plus shipping. All right, next up is an item that's been in the store for a few months. And my wife actually saw these when we were out thrifting together one time. And we got them thinking they would go quick. And they did not go quick, but they did go, which is the catchphrase for I think a lot of resellers is eventually it all sells, right? These are the Dr. Seuss children's lamp covers. There were two of them. Couldn't find the lamps, unfortunately. But anyway, those lamp covers went for $34.99 as a set of two. All right, that brings us to some work boots. These are called Chinooks, made in the USA. They're steel-toed. They're outdoor waterproof. Really nice boot. Got the high leg on them. They're not insulated. Well, they've got a little bit of an insulation inside of them, but they're not like neoprenes or anything like that. They're made from hard rubber. But these are really nice boots. And again, when I picked these up and I got them for a really good price, I really thought they would go pretty quick, but they've been sitting in the store for a while. Finally sold for $38.24 plus shipping. I think the reason that is an odd number is because I might have ran those on a 10% off sale. Matter of fact, I think I did. I think that's why that number is a little odd. The next item up is this FP, I do believe that's FP, might not be FP. Red Paws 001. This is a mini, FPV. This is a mini aircraft. I'm kind of have a loss for words this morning for some reason. You got the little remote control you use with your phone, and it's like a little small drone. It's kind of a practice one. It's a beginner one. This went out the door for $42.99 plus shipping. And yes, I did find this in a Goodwill, brand new. I mean, I opened it up. The box opens, so it's kind of open box, I guess you'd say. But everything inside was brand new. So it's hard. It's just hard to believe that people will take something like this and turn around and just drop it off to a Goodwill. That just confuses me sometimes. Like, I don't know about you, but the things that I find sometimes in our thrift stores, it just makes me wonder, like, where did this come from? How did this end up here? Like, for example, you know, back to these toothbrush heads, brand new. Like, never opened. The seal's never been broke on this. Why would somebody not try to sell this, or at least give it to somebody else that could use it? Why do they just drop it off to... I think sometimes, you know, after you really start thinking through this, I think sometimes some of this stuff must come from house cleanouts or something. And the folks that do the house cleanouts must just pack it all up and drop it off. I can't figure for the world why anybody would take something brand new to Goodwill. But anyway, I am very glad they do, though, because it helps me and you, right? All right, let's get into some of this other stuff that has sold here. All right, so another pair of shoes, a very strange looking pair of shoes. I'd never seen any of these before. I don't sell a lot of shoes in my store, but whenever I'm out sourcing, if there's shoes around, I will look through them and kind of cruise through them a little bit. What tends to catch my eye mostly is just if the shoes look name brand, and if they look like they're in really, really good shape, I will pick them up and look at them. Well, this pair did, and at first I thought, oh, these are probably just some knockoff cheap pair of shoes because of the way they looked. But then started looking into them a little bit deeper and comping them and went, oh, I gotta get these. So these are called Gravity Defys, and it's short for G-Defy. And you know, I don't know much about them. And so they're kind of tall. So when you put them on, they're going to make you feel taller. But, you know, I'm not sure what they're all about unless it's just for comfort and walking or something. But anyway, these are obviously some women's shoes. And they're size 10s. And they sold for $54.99 plus shipping. So, you know, there's something about the Gravity Defy. So be looking for them. All right. So... when it comes to books, I think a lot of folks don't mind selling books if they're not too heavy. The good thing about books, though, is that you can send them media mail, so that helps on some of the shipping cost. But I think a lot of folks would probably steer clear of this book that I'm about to show you just because of the fact that it's large and it's heavy. Now, it's not as large as some books I've seen out there. I remember one time I went to, I think it was a yard sale somewhere I was at, and I seen a book that was actually 3 feet long. And I was like, OMG, who would ever want a 3-foot book? But anyway, there are books made that are very large. This one's not that large, but it is kind of heavy. But anyway, it is a character sketches book. With sleeve, and it's a volume 2 edition, and this came out of a series of Christian teachings back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, by a guy named Bill Gothard. And he taught at a thing called Institute in Basic Youth Conflicts and Youth Ministry. He was big about teaching Christian character to children. So this is a character sketch. So what they do is they take pictures of animals and they give you a lot of information about this type of animal and a lot of details about the animal that you probably don't hear on regular animal shows. And then they turn around and they use those descriptions and things to kind of talk about how we as Christians ought to handle things, you know, through adversity and courage and, you know, those kind of character traits. So anyway, this particular book, now that you know about it, you can be on the lookout for them. It's volume 1 and volume 2 if you ever see them. $26.99 plus shipping. Okay, so I remember when I was out one time and I found a couple of these. These are your hot and cold water for your washing machine hoses. And they're marked by color so you know which one's which, blue and red. Made by Whirlpool. And brand new, still sealed up. And I remember when I saw them, I was like, oh no, I ain't gonna mess with that. You know, I don't know nothing about it, and I doubt very seriously anybody's trying to find water hoses for their washing machine. But I was wrong, like most of the time, and found out that that is a big hot item that people look for on eBay. So if you're ever out and you see water hoses, believe it or not, they will sell. And this one sold for $19.99 plus some shipping. Okay, our last item is a lunchbox. The Igloo lunchboxes back from the 80s and 90s, they're hot items. Now eBay's overloaded with them, so you got a lot of competition. But if you can find some of the rare versions of these, you can do pretty good with them, okay? This is one of the rarest top versions. It is purple in color, and it's called the Munch Mate Plus by Igloo. And I picked this up because it was in pristine condition, okay? Very clean. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but the Munch Mate Plus writing has like a sort of a reflective glow to it with rainbow colors in it. And so that's why it makes it a little bit more standoutish. But that particular little lunchbox, the Munch Mate, they call it, Plus, went out the door for $19.99 plus shipping. Not a lot of profit in some of this stuff. Some more than others, obviously, and that's how this whole reselling game works. I would imagine that most of us probably, and I think I've probably said this before and heard it many times from other resellers, that the majority of our sales are usually in the $14.99s to $19.99 range. But those add up, and you got to look at your averages. And so if you got enough of those throughout the month, that really does you well. It helps offset some of those slow days, and it also helps whenever you get a really huge sale. You got to look at averages, and that is key from not being discouraged. Now, if you're not selling anything, and you got a lot of items, but you're not selling anything, there's some other issues you need to be looking at. And I think I've said this before, and I'll say it again, because one of my next videos is going to be about that right there. And if you can see what I'm pointing at, this is my photo booth, okay? And I'm going to do a video on taking pictures, and I'm going to talk a lot about why it is that you want to take pictures the way you do, because I've seen some horrendous pictures on eBay of people trying to sell things, and I'm telling you, it ain't going to sell, because people like to see quality pictures. They like to be able to see things advertised in a way that looks attractive, and I see so many pictures that are just horrendous. So we've got to really focus in on our pictures. Now, here's the thing: if you've got 500 things listed in your store already, or maybe you don't have a store yet, but you have close to 500 things listed, or maybe you even have 200 things listed. I mean, 200 is still a lot of things, and you're not selling anything, and you look at your pictures and they're horrendous looking. That means that you got to go back and take new pictures, and that means you got to take every one of those 200 items and you've got to do new pictures. And that's something that can be very discouraging, because you go, gee whiz, I took all these pictures, now I got to go back and take all these new pictures, and it's a lot of work. But you know what? This is work. What we do is a job. If you don't realize that yet, then, maybe you're just doing it as a hobby and it's no big thing. You sell one or two items here and there. But if you're in it for really the long haul, then, it's a job. And so you've got to see it as a job. You've got to realize that all the elements that go into reselling, every one of them, your sourcing and the way that you go out and do that, and when you go do that, and how often you do that, and Do you just do it at one store, or do you do it at several stores? Do you do it local, or do you travel? You know, all this. Do you look for ideas on Facebook Marketplace? Do you look on Craigslist? Do you get the word of mouth out that if somebody you know is doing a house clean out, to call you and you'd be willing to help transport some of the stuff back and forth to Goodwill for them? Whatever it means you got to do, that's work. And that's the kind of attitude you got to have to be successful. So anyway, that's going to be it for what's sold. The little clip that I was going to tell you about that I wanted to do toward the end of this video was just to remind you that you know, the first of the first quarter is upon us, and first quarter is a time for us. I mean, this is how I see it, to really kind of regroup, refocus. You might even want to consider pulling some stuff from your store and relisting it at a few days later. That's been sitting there for a while. It's a time to try to knock out your death pile, your piles of stuff that you just been sitting and you haven't listed. Cleaning, organizing. That's kind of how I see the first quarter. Now, that's not to say that we're obviously not focused on selling, but it's going to slow down, I think. I hope it don't. I never want to jinx it for anybody. But I look back on last year, because I've been at it now for a complete year of going through all 12 months. And so last January, I remember how it was. And hopefully it'll be different now that I'm a year in and I've got the feedback built up to 500 and things are going really good. So anyway, I feel like I'm rambling. This is Patriot Picker. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We'll catch you guys again on the flip side.